I'm here with the host of Full Court Press with Gretta Van Susteren. And Gretta, not even a week ago, you and I were here chatting about not counting Amy Klobuchar out of the race. What happened?
Well, let's count her out now, because obviously what happened is the Vice President Biden got a lot of wind behind his sails. The Democratic Party got all excited that maybe they could stop Senator Bernie Sanders, because let's face it, the Democratic Party is not wild about the idea of Senator Bernie Sanders being their nominee, and they think that this is the Democratic Party thinks now this is their big breakout. So what they want to do is basically circle the wagons. They got Senator Amy Klobuchar and Mayor Pete to leave the race. They're both moderates, which Vice President Biden is, and show up in Texas at a rally endorsing Vice President Biden, because they're hoping that Vice President Biden has a big night tonight in the Super Tuesday.
Will Joe Biden's recent surge be enough today?
Well, you know, this is the sort of the unfortunate thing for Vice President Biden, Mike, is that California has the most delegates available tonight, followed by Texas. And California, Bernie Sanders has been in the lead there, and you would think that after Vice President Biden had such a big showing in South Carolina that now, okay, great, he's sort of on a roll, and that he'd be able to do really well in California, because now he doesn't have to compete for the moderate vote with Mayor Pete and Senator Amy Klobuchar. But here's the problem: early voting. So much early voting in California happened well before the big win by Vice President Biden in South Carolina. So so the people voted, and they can't take back their votes, but they might have voted for someone they thought was more viable. They might have voted for Senator Bernie Sanders, thinking like, well, it's not going to work with Vice President Biden. He hasn't been doing well. He did terribly in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and Nevada. So he's feeling a little bit of a sting from the early voting in California. He's not going to do as well as he would if it had occurred after his big win in South Carolina.
Where will he do well tonight?
You know, it's like, who knows who's going to do well. He wants to win Virginia. That would be big for him. He's not expecting to win California. Sort of neck and neck in Texas. He even ruled out Beto O'Rourke, who dropped out of the race, eons ago, and had him at a rally. And Beto, he even said that he would have Beto O'Rourke help him with guns if he's elected president. Because remember, Beto O'Rourke said very early on, alienated many people in the on the Second Amendment supporters, because he said that he would use the government to go in and seize everyone's assault weapons. So he's sort of electrifying on that topic to the right. Naturally, he's a hero to the Democrats on the left. But you know what? I'd tell you to watch, Mike. Watch Massachusetts. We didn't talk about Elizabeth Warren. She was front runner in the summer, front runner in the fall, and then she tanked. Well, tonight, her home state of Massachusetts is on Super Tuesday, and if she doesn't win in her home state, she's in. I don't know how she goes on. And the sort of the worst part about it for her is that Senator Bernie Sanders, who's from the neighboring state of Vermont, he did something that's a little bit like, it looks like he poked a stick in her eye, because he held a rally in Boston, I think it was yesterday. So he's trying to win Massachusetts out from underneath her. So there's a lot of drama going on, but there's a big fight for every single delegate you could possibly get. We haven't talked about Mike Bloomberg, of course, though.
Yes, let's talk about him. Reuters says he's dumped, what, $500 million in ads? Will it pay off tonight?
Well, we will certainly find out. It's the first time he's on a ballot. He's been in 2 debates recently. The first one he got hit pretty hard by Senator Elizabeth Warren, did better in the second one. But he's been on no ballots. And even though he spent north of $500 million on ads, when you have ads, you get to tell your side of things. You're not challenged by reporters. You're not challenged by questions from everybody else. So this has been sort of a one-way street. And he did this to get name recognition out. So this is his big night to see. He's not expecting to win, but he's expecting or hoping to do well. This is, even though it's a third of the delegates tonight are going to be awarded, it's still a long race. There's a lot more to be done. We'll be naming winners and losers tomorrow, but really, it's unless Bernie Sanders runs away with it tonight, this race still has, there's still a lot of twists and turns in it. And to win, you got to get 1,991 delegates, and right now Bernie Sanders, I think, has the most at 60.
What do you think about Senator Amy Klobuchar's chances of becoming a running mate for one of the candidates?
Well, you know, I think that I think the Democrats would like to see a woman on the ticket, and she certainly is capable and competent. I would think she'd probably be a better match for Mike Bloomberg than she is, for instance, for for Vice President Biden, because she has a different experience. She has a wonderful reputation on Capitol Hill when it comes to legislation. She's been very active getting bills passed, and that's something that Mike Bloomberg doesn't have. He's an executive. He ran New York City. And so she would be good for that. I don't see Senator Bernie Sanders taking her because she's moderate. And he's going to want someone that has a more consistent political ideology. Someone more likely to be like Senator Elizabeth Warren would be a better choice for him. As for Vice President Biden, he has made comments he'd like to see an African-American candidate, so maybe he's looking in that direction. But boy, every single one of those candidates tonight that's looking at the races wishes that he or she were making a decision about who to pick for a vice presidential candidate. You know, they're so far from doing that. But Amy Klobuchar would certainly be a steady, safe choice, you know, for any Democrat.
Gretta Van Susteren, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for your time.